Good morning. We are going to make mayonnaise right now. Mayonnaise is an emulsified dressing. We're going to start with egg yolks. Separate the egg, give it a clean crack, and I'm going to do, we'll do 2 egg yolks. Maybe 3. Let's do 3. The more egg yolks, the stronger the emulsification. Egg yolks are what binds that emulsification. The thicker you want it, the more vigorously you whip it. So we're just making an emulsified dressing like a creamy Italian or a creamy balsamic. Emulsification just means it's going to stick together. The more you whip it, the thicker it will get. So we're going to take these egg yolks and just a touch of mustard, a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of white vinegar, and we're ready to go. All right, I've dampened a towel. I've rolled it. This is useful whenever you're whipping something in a bowl. It gives your bowl a surface to sit on that you can make your emulsification. When we're whipping, don't do this. It is not your whole arm. Get into the habit of it is just your hand that's moving, nothing else. Otherwise, when you make mayonnaise, it becomes an exhausting procedure because you're moving your whole arm. We're going to keep whipping this until it ribbons, but I want to get a nice froth out of this, and then we're going to slowly incorporate the oil. The ratio is about 1 egg yolk to 3/4 of a cup of oil, and that's mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is just egg yolk, lemon juice, and oil. You can spruce it up a little bit. You can make it an aioli. Now for this, we are going to use a neutral oil. This is a canola oil. You don't want to use a strong flavored oil because it becomes overwhelming. And we're almost there. That's pretty good. Okay, there you have it. Give it a taste. And it's, you see the consistency? Nice and fluffy. It's delicious. It is what it tastes like. Egg, lemon, oil. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to this. but this is mayonnaise. It is the basic of how to make emulsified dressing. We could use a stem blender. We could use a regular blender, but to make it by hand is something I think everyone who's a culinary professional should know how to do. And there you have it. That's mayonnaise. All right, we're going to do one of my favorite things is making salads. Salads you can really be creative and have a lot of fun. Let's talk about the ingredients for the salad. I just got mesclun greens. It's just a combination of baby oak leaf. There's some different oak leaves. Frisee is in here. It's just a standard mesclun mix. I've got cooked farro. I cooked this farro pasta style. I don't want that excess starch, so it is just cooked. Here I have roasted sweet potato and roasted pear. And just like we roast any vegetable, all I did was just a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt and pepper, and roasted them at a high temperature until they're just tender. You want to be careful not to overcook them. You want them to have some nice flavor afterwards. For this salad, I want to go a little bit more on the sweet side, so I introduced the pear. Tomatoes can go either way, but you can see the tomatoes are going to bring a nice color range into there. And then I've got chopped pecans. Pecans will add a texture of crunch and a nice flavor. And we've got dried cranberries and feta cheese. But think of a salad as a blank palette, and you just fill it with whatever you want. Now, for dressing, we're going to make a vinaigrette. Now, a vinaigrette essentially is 1 part vinegar to 3 to 4 parts oil. That can vary a lot. We have verjus vinegar, really exquisite, great tasting. It does not have a lot of bite. Vinegars vary on their acidity and they vary on their flavor. So when you're making a dressing, just be careful with the vinegar that you have. For today's dressing, I'm going to make a citrus vinaigrette. I'm using lime, orange, and lemon. In order to really get the flavor of those ingredients, I'm going to zest each of them. And by zesting, you're just getting that essence of the flavor and that really strong lemon flavor. And it's an amazing addition to a salad dressing. I'm taking the juice of all three. So if you imagine an orange, lemon, and lime, one of each mixed together, you have this juice. What you want is something with a bite, but should be mellow and sweet. It's an amazing combination. So we've got that juice. So we'll start with that, and that is our acid. I'm adding to this the lemon zest, the lime zest, and orange zest. I'm also going to add chopped shallot. Now, we'll just talk to you about shallots for a little bit. They've got a great flavor, but when you're mincing them for an addition to a salad, remember how we learned how to cut an onion. I want the shallot cut the same way, but just much smaller. I don't want to mash or squish the shallot. I want nice clean cuts. When you mash and squish it, it has an entirely different flavor. And that water that comes out of it, to me, is just not a desirable flavor. There are a lot of people that put the shallot into a food processor. To me, you're losing what the shallot has, especially for dressings. I think cooking applications, you can get away with it, but that's what you want. You want a nice, clean cut. It's going to be crisp. You're not going to lose a lot of liquid. All that flavor is going to be in there. All right, so we're going to add some chopped shallot. Now for flavor, and it helps emulsify the dressing. This is a temporary emulsified dressing. I'm just adding a little bit of mustard. If I wanted a more dominant flavor, I would add more mustard, but for this, it's just a little bit. My habit, I always, well, almost always, counter the acid of any dressing with just a little bit of honey, and it just tones it down ever so slightly, and there's the basis for emulsification. So we had about 3 ounces of juices, of the combined juice, a little bit of mustard, a little bit of honey. Slowly drizzle in some oil. Now this is going to be a temporary emulsification. If I wanted to make it a permanent emulsified dressing, an egg yolk would serve as a stabilizer. That looks about right. I'm going to add just a pinch of salt and a pinch of black pepper. And let's give that a taste. Let's see. Doesn't look good. Oh, that's amazing. Wow. That's really good. Holy shit. That's really good. Okay. Another word about dressing. If you wanted to make a no-fat dressing or a low-fat dressing, I'm not sure if you can see it, but oil has got a certain, call it a viscosity, which is it's slightly thicker than water, right? What you do is you take vegetable stock, you bring it to a simmer, you thicken it with a slurry, just till it reaches that consistency. Then you replace the vegetable stock for the oil. So you would just whisk that in instead of that. Oil is neutral in flavor. All the oil is doing is transferring all those flavors around your mouth. That's the purpose of the oil. It's the other ingredients that bring the flavor. So a nice flavored vegetable stock, so long as it's thickened slightly, will work the same way. And you've got a beautiful no-fat dressing. Okay, let's make the salad. Now I have my ingredients, and I'm just making salad for one. Alright, that looks good. I love the farro in salad. It adds a nice texture. It makes it a lot more filling. Roasted sweet potato and pear. Nothing was added to this. I could have glazed it with, say, maple, or I could have glazed it with honey, but to me it's got plenty of flavor. Put a little bit of cranberry in, not too much. A little bit of pecan. A little feta. And a few tomatoes. I always prefer to dress my salad so to this much salad, it's about 1.5 ounces of dressing, and that's it. You don't want it, the dressing is to serve, it's to coat, it is not for it to be swimming in it. How's that look? Maybe I just take a few pecans just to, on top, just to bring out those colors a little bit more. Maybe just a little bit of feta cheese. Just to, but that's a beautiful salad. As beautiful as it is, it's filling, it's a complete meal. If you wanted to add a piece of protein, a piece of fish, grilled piece of fish, a grilled piece of chicken, but that's a beautiful salad. Oh my God. That's so good. So good. So easy. Find the vinegar you like, find the oils, quality ingredients, prepare them properly. You can't go wrong. This is a delicious dinner. All right, we're going to make a compound salad. A compound salad is basically a salad that is bound together with a dressing and different ingredients. The possibilities are limitless, but let's just do something real simple. We're going to do a potato and corn chowder salad. What we love about potato and corn chowder is that bacon flavor, so this is the salad version of this. Start with some Yukon bees. I love Yukon bees. They're a nice size. The A's, I just like when you can get a cut that looks like that. It just adds to the attractive appeal of the salad. When we cook the potatoes, there's lots of ways of cooking them. I like cooking them in salt water as opposed to a steamer because you get that flavor all the way through. You can see the nice creamy texture of that potato. And it slices real nice. And like I said, it's part of the presentation. And it's part of why we use quality ingredients. Also, when we cook the potato, we learned when we were cooking potatoes, we always start from cold water. We boil it until it's just tender. I laid it out on a sheet pan and I air dried it. If you soak it in water, the potatoes will absorb water. So the potatoes, when you take them off, you've got the carryover heat to consider. And just make sure that when you pull them off, you do not expose them to further water because they're like a sponge and they'll just soak it up. Okay, our other ingredients. We've got corn. I wish it was the summer. It would have been summer corn, but it's frozen corn. I just roasted it in the oven, give it a little bit more sweetness. So we got just frozen corn like this. Like I said, if this was the summertime, it would be a beautiful addition. Got a little bit of onion, not a lot. I just want to give that some flavor. And celery is going to provide some crunch, taste, and texture. But I like the crunch that is introduced with the celery. Parsley is going to really highlight all those colors. And the part that you want to be careful with is it is fresh bacon, not bacon bits. You don't want this, bacon is really a strong flavor. You don't want this to taste like bacon stew. But you want that nice smoky flavor. That looks like about enough, right? Yeah, put it in. Okay. That's the basis for our salad. For our dressing, we're taking a combination of the mayonnaise we made earlier. I'm doing a 1-to-1 ratio mayonnaise to sour cream. It's just like that. And I'm going to put a little bit of mustard in there. Not a lot. Now, one of the more common dressings that you're going to make, it's for potato salad, it is coleslaw, but it is a balance of the sweet and sour. We're going to add a little bit of sugar and a little bit of white vinegar, which is neutral in flavor, but it adds that acid to it. And what you want is a nice creamy dressing that's going to have that balance of sweet and sour. That's about right. Pinch of salt. Nice black pepper. Okay. Now all these ingredients, especially the potatoes, that I took the time to make sure that they were a nice cut, I want to make sure that I'm incorporating them gently. So I'm going to use my hands. Because if I use a spoon, I don't get the feel for it, and I can over-mix it, and all those beautiful cuts of potatoes just becomes like mashed potatoes. See how I did. And you'll get all these flavors right away. That bacon's very strong. I love good food. That's delicious. So when you're making this type of salad, think of different ingredients, think of different combinations, think of tarragon. Think of different styles of mayonnaise. Think of just different herbs, different vegetables, different combinations of vegetables. And that is the end result. I think you can tell I've done this a few times. But that is a beautiful. See how it looks. Right? That looks good. So if you wanted to make a Pennsylvania Dutch potato salad, you would add chopped eggs, right? Beautiful.